let's shine on the light. We don't talk about swim. Welcome to my life. Let's shine on the light. We don't talk about swim. We don't talk about swim.
Hi, this is Ed Akira. I'm the co-founder of the Black Swimming Association and producer of the Black Can Swim film documentaries. And host of Why We Don't Talk About Swim. So today I have a very special guest. I always have special guests. Everyone that comes on this podcast is a special guest. But this one is a very special guest.
Thanks.
And I met him when I did a screening at University of East London. So, I did a private screening at University of East London. Little name check there. So all these other organizations that that are out there, that if you want to have we want to know more about, if you want to help with the issue with a disproportionate amount of people from African, Caribbean and Asian communities that do not swim, and you want to hear the lived experiences and such, then obviously you have to watch the film. A film called Black Can Swim Rewind, or the sequel. And then after it, I will do a Q&A and answer questions. And so that was what I was doing at the University of East London. And I met this amazing gentleman. And I will introduce him to you. No, as a matter of fact, I will let him introduce himself, because no one can talk better about themselves than the person. So,
That is true.
Tyrone, over to you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. I am Tyrone Cassius. I'm a sports therapist and teacher. And as Ed said, I met him at the screening event of Black Can Swim Rewind. And I think from there, it really hit me. I won't go into too much detail now. Obviously, this is just an introduction. But I think when you meet the right person at the right moment, you can kind of think that, something is definitely going to come of this. And just from speaking to Ed about what he's doing, it just, really touched me. And I knew it was something I had to get involved in some way. Here we are. So definitely excited to be here. Heard the previous podcasts and everything you're doing so far. And just excited for where this is going. Thanks for having me on.
So tell us, so what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
Proud father of 3 young girls. I think that's probably the first and foremost. That's my they're my babies, and my wife as well, of course.
Don't forget about
she probably should have came first. The reason why I mentioned them, I'll obviously come on to later on in the show. But they're my drive, they're my motivation, they're my reason, etc. Sports therapist by trade. So we've been doing that for well over 10 years now. So working in the medical field, rehabilitation, in different industries, football, boxing, done a bit in taekwondo, etc. as well. And now going into the teaching. So working in sports science, helping football scholars as well. So that's kind of how I split my time mostly. That's my joy, really, like helping people. That's what I've always been doing. That's what I love. And it's just great I can do that in the medical side and also in the educational sector as well. So anyway I can do that, I'm happy. And this vehicle, this project, is definitely kind of part of that as well, and it will reach many. And however I can help that, I will help that.
So let's go to the beginning, and I always like to go to the beginning because the podcast is Why We Don't Talk About Swim. So it makes sense for us to start in the beginning. So first and foremost, can you swim?
So I can survive. And I've always said that. I've got to be honest, And I've heard many people talk about that as well, and they say the same thing. Like if I had to swim for my life, then I have no choice. Yeah. So I'd swim. But recreationally, no. And that's the honest truth. It's just something that I've never thought about doing. It's always been in the back of my mind, but I just never did it. No one else in my family really ever did it, so it just made sense not to do it.
And hence the reason why we don't talk about swim.
Exactly.
So basically, you're saying that you can swim from a water safety perspective. You understand. You can save yourself.
Hopefully,
you think
hopefully, I think I can save myself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's a very, very interesting way of looking at it, because I always say, and I've been ridiculed for saying this, but I always say that understanding water safety and drowning prevention is more important than learning how to swim.
Yeah.
Because there's people that can swim that drown.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, which is true.
Yeah. So knowing what to do, knowing the power of water, knowing how to engage with water, how to protect yourself is more important than the actual act of swimming. And I think so as well. As someone who's only just learned to swim, So yeah, and I've spoken to so many people who've said that I've only just now started talking about swimming since your film documentary, since the Black Swim campaign, and these are people, the Africans and Asians and Caribbeans, saying it's never part of our conversation, it's never part of what we do, and that makes it even more harder. And I'm forever saying that even though I'm doing us and I'm talking about swimming almost every day, no, not almost every day, every single day, even though this is not my day job, it's more or less big part of my life. And I'm always talking about swimming. I'm always talking about the campaign, talking about the Black Swimmers Association, but I'm not 100% at one with water. Because it's never part of my, shall I say, I wasn't brought up with it. I wasn't brought up with this. It's every time I have to engage with water, I engage with swimming, I have to prepare myself mentally for it. I'm going on holiday, we're going to get into the water, we're going to go into a leisure center. I have to mentally prepare myself for it. And that holds me back. But that's because it's never been part of me, my upbringing, it's never been part of me, and that's an issue. So I totally get where you're coming from, and I totally understand exactly where you are, So did you learn at school? Did you learn the private lesson?
Yeah,
how did it work?
Obviously part of primary school, it's part of the curriculum, but by the time you actually get to the swimming pool, you got to walk down there, get changed, etc. You're probably only in there for about half an hour, maybe, and then there's that automatic, right? Those that can swim or comfortable swimming, put your hand up. So the 6 or 7 that can swim already, they go one side. People that feel like they're okay go in the middle, and then the non-swimmers will go to the other side, and they just get in the water and splash their legs, and for half an hour. And the pressure was like, right, where do I think I'm at? I don't want to make myself look like a fool and think, yeah, I'm gonna go in the deep end, and that's it. But I don't want to feel like, I don't want people to think I can't swim.
Yeah.
So I'll try to go in the middle because that's where everyone is. That's where my friends are, and then you quickly realize that I'm probably not there yet. That's me being probably 6, 7, 8 years old, and from then it was like, right, I've got to try and learn how to swim. But as soon as you start realizing that, that's it. The swimming program or whatever is done, because it's like, well, we got to switch that with something else. We can't go to the swimming thing anymore, and I'm not doing that outside of school. Like, there was no such thing as swimming outside of school. It was literally just probably, some form of football, like karate, those types of things that parents were like, let's go and do that. You know what I mean? So, never really outside of school learned how to swim. And since then, I've never kind of picked it back up. I'll just sit on the pool and I can get in the water. There's no fear of water, nothing like that. But in terms of the competency of swimming, it's not there.
Okay, I'm going to come back to this, but you mentioned your father.
Yes.
Do the children swim?
So my eldest, so she's 4, you're going to turn in 4. So me and my wife, we made it our duty. You got 3 children under the age of 4. Yeah.
Oh, you've been busy. Anyway.
So I got 4-year-old, and then let me put this out. I've got twins. So the twins. So that's 3. Otherwise, I definitely would have been busy. But so my eldest, we made it. We said, you know what, we want her to learn how to swim from a young age. So obviously, COVID stopped all the classes when she was born. Yeah. So she didn't start swimming until she was probably around 1.5, 2. And so I took her to swim. Now, the reason I could is because it's a baby pool, you know, so I can stand up in it. So I feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's comfortable in water. She can swim to an extent. And then the twins at some point, will do the same thing.
Yeah.
But none of them have a fear of water, which I think is probably one of the biggest things as a parent. You hope that your child doesn't fear water at a young age. So, you know, we put them in the bath and they were like, it's literally like a sink or swim. But they were fine. And now, like so for example, we went to Dubai end of 2023, and it's like we were thinking, how are they going to be in the ocean? How are they going to be in the pool? And to be fair, they were fine. Like, you know, there's no hesitation. They're getting in. My eldest is, she's like splashing around and stuff, so she's fine. She's going on the slides, going there. So I'm like, okay, cool. So of course we need to harness those skills and be comfortable like actually swimming, but that's the starting point. And the twins are similar, and that's, for us, it's like a little quick tick that we've got them comfortable in the water from an early age. You know what I mean? So hopefully that will continue, because I didn't have that as a child. I don't think, but from what I can remember, I wasn't necessarily in the water all the time. So I didn't think none the wiser when I grew up, if that makes sense. So hopefully that will be different for the girls.
So your missus, does she swim?
She's similar to me. She can survive. She can survive. We can save each other. But again, she wouldn't just jump in she wouldn't just jump in a pool and say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna swim 5 lengths," or like, "Oh, Tyrone, I'm going swimming." That would never get said in the house because it doesn't exist. You know
that's right. Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. I say it's not relatable. It's not been, we talk about everything else. We talk about music, we talk about football, we talk about this, talk about all those kind of things. But swimming is not part. And then you hear things like, "Oh, swimming is a white person's activity. It's not a black person." And it is true, because a lot of people look and I had a conversation with my nephew, and he asked me. He goes, he's 10 years old. He was at the time. He was 10 years old, and he's very much into music, into hip hop, is into football. Really big into that. So we're talking about swimming. So basically, actually, let me rewind the story. His dad said to me, my younger brother said, "Darren Kane is starting swimming lessons at school, but he doesn't want to do it." His son went. My nephew went to his dad and said, "Dad, can you write me a note?
Okay.
That's so to teach, so that I don't have to do it." And the dad said to him, "What do you mean you don't want to do it? Look what your uncle is doing. Your uncle is he's an advocate for what? Talking, and you're telling me you don't want to do it." He goes, "Nah, it's not for us."
Us.
I said, "What do you mean it's not for us?" He goes,
"Okay,
it's for white people." And that's like, where did you hear that from? So when we met at my mum's, we got mum every 2 weeks. We go there, and go see the old lady and all that. Some good jollof. Sidetracking. When I go to, I've got my key, right. I go into the house. I go to the kitchen, help myself in the food before I even go say hello to everyone. I left home 20 years ago, but I still have my key. I'm holding on to that, man. But anyway, go back. So my nephew was there, and I said to him, "What? I heard your dad say that." He goes, "No, I don't. It's for white people." And I said, "Okay, what do you mean?" He goes, "Okay, can you show me?" He goes, "I like football, and I watch England, and I follow England, and I'm a Liverpool supporter, and all that kind of thing." Look, and he, on his phone, he goes, "Here's a team. Here's the national the England team.
Yeah.
Just look at this one. It's got all these guys in there, Rashford, all these guys in there." He goes, "Can you show me the one for swimming?" Okay, my heart sank straight away, because I know that in as it stands right now, there's only one black swimmer, which is Alice Deering in Team GB. Yeah. So I brought the picture and for whatever reason, she wasn't even in that picture. And he goes,
it's even worse.
So I can see. So it's an issue, and. It can be what you can't see. If you don't see it, you don't. You can't. And that's a big issue. When you were talking about your profession, the sports, you mentioned football.
Yep.
But you didn't mention swimming, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you think that will change anytime soon?
So, yeah, I mean, there's a reason I didn't mention swimming, and that's because in my line of work, like I said, I played football up until obviously I was 19, and then obviously went to uni and focused on education. And football, again, being in football, like you said, you can't be what you can't see. I see everyone playing football, so I'm kind of naturally going to be drawn towards football. And then you kind of realize I'm good at it, so you keep pursuing it. But like I said, I still had the educational side of things, so I knew I could always fall back on that if I needed to go to university, which I did. But throughout my course and throughout my degree, there's, like in sports therapy, when you kind of come out, so you think of, you finish your degree, it's like, what's next? What career can I go into? What industry can I go into? Now, as a sports therapist, the main things you go into are either probably football or rugby. And that's it. You're thinking, well, I studied sports therapy, so football and rugby are the only two sports in the world. So how do you get into anything else? And again, it's going to be regional. You know, different areas will specialize in different sports. So if you think you're kind of living closer to, like, say, more Oxford, Cambridge, or whatever, yeah, you might be able to get into rowing or canoeing and stuff like that because they have the facilities there. Yeah. But in here, like I said, it's football or rugby, and rugby is not my preferred sport. So for me, it was football. So I've spent a lot of my career working in football. Now I'm fortunate in that I'm quite streetwise and understand that, okay, there's a problem here because everyone's going into football. So how do you get into different avenues? So through my connections, people I've worked with, again, open avenues in like boxing. A few little bits in like taekwondo and stuff like that, and it's trying to get people in through that way. But swimming, never been on the radar, and that's as an organization or as a field. So sports therapists don't work in swimming. And to kind of come back to what you said earlier, you work in a field where you see, in a sense, your people that look like you, yeah, and course. So for me as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old coming into the real world of work, it's like, right, I'm kind of trying to gravitate to a familiar people that are kind of look like me. There's people in football, there's people in everything, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go into there. There's no black people in swimming, so I'm not at that time. It's like I'm not saying I'm not gonna feel comfortable there, but it might be a bit awkward. And probably at that age, it was like, I'm not really trying to break those kind of molds and yet. Now, fast forward, 11 years, like I've got some mileage in the game now, got some experience, and it's like, right, there's a next generation coming through who are thinking the same thing that I did, but I don't want them to have the same narrative. It's my duty or my obligation is to change that. And now it's, right, swimming, yeah. How do you get into swimming? Well, it sounds mad. First, you need black swimmers. And it's just, I mean, you call it what it is. You need black swimmers. Because then that attracts black therapists, black physios, black medical staff. And it's like, and black coaches, black swim coaches and stuff. So it's what comes first. What do you get first? And this is, like I said, where you're working in is like, right, trying to get more people more black Asian community to start swimming. Because in the future, there you have black swimmers. The
future. So I did an article which I put it, I think in the back end of last year in the London Economics magazine, which stated that Team GB is unlikely to Team GB swimming is unlikely to reflect the diversity of the UK until, at the very least, 2052 Olympics.
Yeah, I remember.
Right?
I read that.
And yes,
it's crazy though.
And I was asked, how did you come up with that? And then I look, and then going back to Team GB, only one black swimmer in Team GB, and I'm saying that basically the work we are doing right now it's going to change. Hopefully, it's going to change, but it's going to change with our children. And that's why I was so happy you spoke about your children in the beginning, because for someone like myself, someone like you, to all of a sudden start thinking about swimming on a daily basis, going swimming and being part of your life, is very unlikely. You know, let's call it spade a spade. Let's be realistic about it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, in a way. But the work we are doing, these conversations we're having right now, is going to affect our children. So our children are going to grow up, get to our ages, and swimming and water safety and all that kind of thing is new. It's not new to them.
Yeah.
So therefore, then they can install it into their children, and that's why I say 3 generations down the line, probably we will have a diverse swimming team. But it's very, very difficult. And sorry if I'm sounding negative, but I think I'm sounding realistic. It's realistic.
No, it's real. Yeah, it's not negative.
It's
real. Yeah.
It's going to take a while to get to that stage, but we have to put in the work now.
Yeah,
to do it.
I agree.
Yeah. So sports therapy, and I probably should have asked this question before rather than now. So what does that entail? Is it physical? Is it mental? So what's the
sports therapy? So it's in terms of the medical side, it's still quite a new profession. It's like 30 years old. So it's obviously think of like physiotherapy, what they do. Sports therapy will focus more on the, like, here's a big word, musculoskeletal side of things. That's just basically things with the body. And the idea of the course is to obviously focus a bit more on the kind of the functionality of rehab, more hands-on rehab, kind of manual work, mobilizations, and then having a more in-depth understanding of injuries, what can happen, and then obviously developing the rehab program for that person to get them back fit. Yeah, so in a nutshell, like when we get told this, and I'm quoting it, is our job is to get someone back to fully functional fitness in the safest and quickest way possible. So we work in there. You can work in any sport, yeah, of course. But yeah, the main thing is just understanding the body, different types of injuries, how to diagnose those injuries, and then obviously how to treat them. Yeah, in a nutshell. And yeah, because it's still quite a relatively new-ish profession compared to like physios, the level of jobs you can get, or the scope of jobs you can get, will probably be a bit more restricted, because physiotherapists have obviously been around for longer, so they will have, in a sense, more of a say. Yeah, and I'm not going to get into the politics of physios versus sports therapists. That's not my job. But yeah, it's trying to find that balance and kind of break into whatever industry you want to. But like I said, the main sports you kind of end up going into are football and then rugby. You may get the odd, diamond that gives you something different, but predominantly most sports therapists will work in football or rugby, or run a clinic, set up their own clinic or something like that.
So the organisation you work for, can you tell us a bit more about them?
So I obviously, in terms of the organisation, so as a sports therapist, so I run my own clinic called Specify Health and Wellbeing, and that I basically do what I just said. So just treat anyone, any injuries, not necessarily just sports people, like anyone. So if someone falls on the road and rolls their ankle, I'll treat them. Yeah, someone just has some surgery, needs some rehab, that's fine. But sports is obviously a big thing, because it's a big industry, and like I said, football has probably been my biggest industry in terms of clients and stuff like that, because I've worked in it for so long. And now our sports therapists, so we have our governing body, the Society of Sports Therapists, which I'm a member of, and this kind of comes back to how I met yourself. Is one of my colleagues there heard about this event happening, so he was a lecturer at UEL, and he said that this was happening, so he told me about it. Now, why he told me is I'm the chairman of our EDI group for the society, and he's like, it would be good for myself to go down there, see what it's about, and just be a part of it and open the eyes of a big topic. And so it just made sense for me to go down there.
What was your thoughts when you sat down there? I mean, there's a lot of people, when you hear the name Blacks Can't Swim, the first thing is okay, what's this about? Can he even say that? And,
Of course.
yeah, and that kind of thing. And then when they watch it, then they have their ideology changes, and they have a better understanding what it. So what was your thought?
I'll be honest, I didn't necessarily know what I was going into.
Yeah.
So my colleague told me, there's this screening event for this documentary, and then obviously he told me that it's called Blacks Can't Swim. He said obviously I can't be there, but it'd be good if you can go down. I thought, well, yeah, why not? So yeah, it kind of went, and to be honest, it was a massive eye opener, and it really just confirmed things that I already felt, in not just in a swimming perspective, but just in general, things that we don't talk about, and where I'll say us as a people, in terms of ethnic minorities, where we just don't, we don't talk, we don't do enough, and it's starting to affect the next generation and the decisions that they make. And I think it was very highlighted in Blacks Can't Swim Rewind, how parents can affect, put pressure, their pressures on their children, and they make those decisions as a result, and that knock-on effect. And I think that was very well highlighted, plus the interviews and the real interviews where people were just saying, just telling it as it is.
Yeah. and that's what I said, that it's lived experiences, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's, so I'm hoping that in a few years' time, or a few generations' time, whoever's interviewing you or whoever your successor or anything, have swimming added to the list. So we got football, rugby, boxing, and swimming. Yeah. That's the plan.
That's what that's what that's what I'm trying to do. But I said it takes everything. It's not. It's just it's a group effort. Yeah. And we'll get there. But you said it's gonna take generations, and it's a long term thing.
Yeah. I have one question, and I'm aligning this to therapy, I'm aligning this to mental health, and I'm aligning this to a number of things. Almost every black child out there, right, wants to be a footballer. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, many of them go down, the parents take them the lessons, and many of them, the parents, dedicate a lot of their life, their weekends, weekdays, going through this, trying to get them into tea, but it's a lot. And I obviously, I know a lot of black children, a lot of black parents, and I can almost guarantee that majority of them have at some point of time done that or are doing that.
Yeah.
The question, we all know that it's impossible for all of them to be able to break through and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But is it healthy? I don't know, because I've seen a lot of heartbreak as well.
Yes.
So a lot of parents have put so much effort into it and raise expectations of the child. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to get into the youth of this team and all that kind of thing, and then they don't, and then it's disappointing. Some of them get over it. Some of them, much further than others. Some of them don't. But what's your thought on all this? What's your
Wow.
I know you weren't expecting that way.
No. It's not even that, but it's where to start.
Yeah.
Because I've been that child, and I work with, like I said, the boys that I teach. We have these conversations probably every other day, because they're 16, 17, 18, trying to get football, professional football contracts, etc. And some of them ain't gonna make it. That's just the honest truth. So it's, well, what else can you do? And I think one of the big things that I find is if parents, carers aren't involved or invested, it kind of makes the child sometimes think they're on their own, feel lost, and not have that support or that guidance to say, right, am I making the right decisions? And again, I'm not. I say this to my students. I'm not here to shatter your dreams, not at all. Like if you make it as a footballer, I'll be your biggest fan. You will have my 100% support, but you have to realize you're not up against the people just in this classroom. You're not up against people in London. You're not against people in the UK. Football's a global thing. So for every one professional contract, there's millions of people trying to get that. Yeah. So the odds and chances will never be in your favor. You just have to say that. All right. No matter how good you are, the odds will still never be in your favor. All right. Now, to go back to what you said about your nephew, yeah, and when you were speaking about him, I had in my head, I just had the same image. And when you grow up, and you said, you know, you look at, say, the England people in you look at a photo of a team, you think, oh, it's England, and you look at all these players, and you think, right, look at Liverpool team, great team by the way. You look at it and you think, right, these guys here, you know, I don't see any swimmers in there, and it's like, well, what do you think these boys do for rehab? And that's the thing that no one thinks about. And that's why I take what I do very seriously. Because until you get injured, you don't know what rehab entails. Yeah, like intensive rehab and extensive rehab. So I've worked, I said, with a lot of people and have done a lot of like aquatherapy, hydrotherapy, which is a lot of pool-based work to get them, you know, because the benefits of water, yeah, it's non-weight bearing. So if someone's got a serious injury, being able to actually do things without gravity really weighing down on you, so you can actually still do some functional stuff. Yeah. So there's an importance. Now, if you've never swam before, or you have a fear of water, and your name's Trent Alexander-Arnold or Marcus Rashford, and it's like, right, but we need to do some hydrotherapy work. You're like, water's not for me. How's it gonna look? I'm paying you X amount of thousands a week. You need to get in the pool. You know what I'm saying? So it's building up that confidence and understanding that it actually is a part of your life, and it will actually enhance any other aspect of your life. So yeah, you just run on a pitch and kick a ball, but the things that go into that and being ready to perform at your optimum, yeah, think about recovery, jumping in a plunge pool, or, you know, in a cooling down pool, all that stuff. Yeah, go swimming a couple of lengths, good for recovery, you know, all that stuff. But unless you're competent and comfortable, you're kind of missing out on those little bits. And you think about football's all about those 1%. Yeah, and that 1%, you being comfortable swimming or whatever, comfortable in water, could be the big difference that separates you from, playing in non-league or playing in Premier League. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so passionate for me, because I've seen both sides of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I've experienced and I've been in it. And I've worked with a lot of people that have had that experience and been like, yeah, that hydro stuff really helped, because, you know, I'm not letting this, and it's being comfortable in water. Now, can you tell a 15, 16-year-old that? They might listen, they might not, because but it's until they have that experience and they have that injury, then they start to realize. But my thing is, why should it take you to get injured to have that? Yeah, use those experiences from other people and make your decisions from there. So yeah.
Oh wow. So Mo Jafar, who was in the Rewind, one of the interviews, he mentioned that if one of the footballers were to come and say that I swim or I did this, it would change a lot of things, because all these youth that I look at and go, wow, he swims. I'll be interested in that, or at least they're open. So it's, you know, we say it, you can't be what you can't see. The people they need mentors. We need, for our youth, we need mentors and that kind of thing. So it's, we'll see how we go. But yeah, we need to get more people visible. You know, in aquatics, more people that look like us, feel like us, visible in aquatic.
I agree.
Yeah. Well. Thank you very much. This has been really been insightful. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
So if people want to find you, I mean, where's the best? Where's the best?
I mean, to be honest, I said I don't do this. I'm not like a public figure. I don't do this to be like out there and stuff. For me, it's just about raising a message and raising the awareness of how important this stuff is. Not just the swimming, but the talking, and then the action, you know, and the continued action. So, man, obviously fine. I mean, I'm around. You know what I mean? Like Instagram, usual stuff. we'll have like social medias and everything. But to be honest, like, just I'm just a normal guy, just trying to make the change.
You're doing a great job,
and that's it. So. Yeah,
Tyrone, thank you very much.
No, it's been a pleasure, man. No, definitely been a pleasure. And yeah, man, I'll say to you as well, keep up the good work. It's definitely something that will have a long lasting impact. And yeah, like, definitely glad to be a part of this.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Cheers.